Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is John. I'm on the phone right now with a friend of mine, Ben, from SFR, the Students for Rand organization, and we're going to be talking today about libertarianism, Rand Paul, and the 2016 election. How are you, Ben?
Good. How are you, John?
Good, good. All right, so this is actually the first time we've really talked on the phone, so I don't know everything about Ben. So Ben, just give me like an idea about how did you get into politics, and why do you like Rand Paul?
Sure. All right. So I've always been interested in politics, and the thing that may shock you and others that are listening to this is somebody that is now doing work for Rand Paul's campaign. As of pretty much my whole life up until about a year or two ago, I was actually a supporter of Democrats.
Really?
For the most part, yes. I actually did some phone from home stuff for Obama in 2012. But the thing is, I went to college. I graduated last year from University at Albany, New York. And while I was there, I was open to all different types of political groups. Being in a school that's in the capital city of the state, we had tons of political groups on campus, off campus, everything. And I sort of realized, I dissected it, and I said, the only reason why I'm really a Democrat is because of some of their social policies, some types of foreign policy, stuff like that. And I looked more into it, and I was like, wait, I'm really a libertarian. And I kind of, in the last year or so, I really discovered that really represented my views, and it wasn't the Democratic Party. And I was basically getting hijacked by that party into thinking that I should be voting for that because they were the only ones that could represent me. And I looked into it, and I saw, candidates like Ron Paul, Rand Paul, Gary Johnson, list goes on with more. And I was like, wow, when I hear these people, the way that they preach, it really appeals to me much more than any Democrat that I've supported. So, and that kind of brought me over to being a registered Republican, getting involved with Rand Paul's campaign, and realizing that I'm more of a libertarian Republican than a Democrat. So.
Okay, yeah. All right, cool. That's it's a little, the way that I got into it, I guess, is like I was kind of interested in politics when I was younger. I knew that my uncle, like back in 2012, when I first started kind of getting into it, I remembered my uncle actually like loved this guy named Ron Paul. And then my grandfather, who I love talking about politics with, he was just like, oh, he's not gonna win and things like that. And I didn't really know like who they were talking about. So I had a friend of mine that at school, he was like super into politics. His name's Josh, and he was like, oh yeah, dude, I'm really into like libertarianism. Like I research this stuff all the time. I love watching videos, and I read books on it and things like that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, and I didn't really know what libertarianism was, because up until really, I mean, in 2012, I really was exposed to like, well, you're either really conservative or you're really progressive, which is, unfortunately, that's the way it is. And a lot of the mainstream is you're either with the left or with the right. And so I started watching like videos on Ron Paul first. I saw Ron Paul before I saw Rand Paul, and I was like, wow, like this guy is like genuine. Like this guy, I always got naturally annoyed at other politicians because they just seemed kind of like they were bought out or whatever, and they didn't really give satisfactory answers. And what I like about Rand Paul and Ron Paul, and what attracted me to more libertarian beliefs, is that the libertarians always seemed the most logical about whatever they were talking about, whether it was like social issues, foreign policy, and economic issues. They didn't let their what I really like about it is they don't let their emotions control their argument. They try to stick to logic and reason, which is what really appealed me. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. And the thing that I always like to say, and I don't want to, I wouldn't want to always to quote him because he is technically running, he's a third-party candidate, but Gary Johnson always says what libertarianism means to him is to be fiscally responsible and socially tolerant or socially responsible. That's the way you guys say. That's the easiest way to say, even though that I might personally have a different a view on something with social views, I'm going to be tolerant of the other side and make sure that everything is accepted. That's what I really think libertarianism means, is that when it comes to social issues, foreign policy, economic issues, you want to leave people alone. So if it's with business, you want to tax them less. You want everybody to have that same feel. You want everybody to, like Rand's plan, 14.5% tax. Everybody pays that. All businesses, all income levels. In terms of marriage, the libertarian way of thought is that, you don't register your marriage with the government. No county clerk in Kentucky needs to have to sign her name on that paper. That marriage will be a marriage, but it's separate from others. It doesn't have to bother any side, So that's the way I look at libertarianism. It's a way of kind of letting people do what they want to do, but then there is a role for government to make sure that you can't abuse somebody, but
right.
you're still protected. So.
Yeah, that's to me what I really like about it too is is that whether you're religious, like maybe you're Christian, maybe you're an atheist or whatever personal beliefs you have, what I really like about it is like people that are more liberty minded can come together and work together to reach the same goal, which is just to be left alone from the government, and which really really appealed to me, because I noticed a lot with, and this is pretty obvious, but with the left or the right, they both kind of say, oh, we want freedom, we want this, but really what they want to do is just they want to control the government, but they just want to use it for their own personal agenda. So you got the right who wants massive military spending. They want to be like the world's policeman, and they want they want to make sure that you're not smoking pot, and they want to put you in jail, give you a criminal record. Like I know actually one guy who applied at a pizza shop I work at, and he was like, man, I'm probably not even gonna get this job. And I was like, oh, like why not? And he's like, well, he goes, I got caught with a little bit of pot once, now I got a criminal record. He goes, I can't find a job. He goes, I don't have a lot of money. And it really upset me, because it's like, he can't get a job because he had a little bit of a plant on him that, and people that have jobs at Mark's, they smoke cigarettes, or Mark's is the pizza place I work at, they smoke cigarettes, or maybe they drink, and it's like, that's arguably worse than pot, and this guy's got a criminal record now. So it's, and then, you have the left who, I do, socially, I do agree with a lot of things that people on the left say, but, when you talk about the more extreme, very radical feminism, kind of the more, some people would say feminazi, but that kind of and social justice warrior, they kind of want to also use the government to force their values onto other people. So it's both sides of the table. It's not one or the other. I'm equally annoyed. For example, I'm totally fine with gay marriage. I'm totally cool with it. It's not. That's not, for example, I'm straight, but I'm not going to tell somebody that, if you have a personal relationship with another individual, I don't have a right to tell you can't do that. So, but some people on the left, not everybody does, but some people on the left think that, well, we should also force churches to marry gay people, which I equally think is just as bad, because I don't, you don't run the church, you don't own the church or anything like that, and I feel that a church has the right to say, we don't personally believe in that, but the church doesn't have the right to say, well, you can't go somewhere else and get married.
Exactly, yeah, it goes both ways. And I think, and I will bring up now the good and bad things of something like a religious freedom law, like what went down in Indiana with Mike Pence. And I think the thing is with a law like that, and in some states it does work. Even here in New York, I don't know if you know this, but churches do have the right here. If a gay couple comes in and they say, we want to have our marriage ceremony here, the church has the right to respectfully say yes or no in the state of New York, because there are some laws for religious freedom, and I do agree with that. I say, the way I say it, it kind of sounds like a mean way of saying it, but you can go get married somewhere else. There's going to be a place that will accept you, and you do need to respect the doctrine of the religion, and I think that goes to another part of freedom of anything, like what we spoke about. You know, the same freedom of the priest in the church is the same type of freedom that somebody has if they want to be married. It's two ideological type of ways of thought. You know, that you know, a certain church doesn't want to believe in a certain form of marriage, yet the people that are that are being married, they want to believe in the thought of a different form of marriage, which, like you said, you agree with, I agree with as well. But you kind of need to go through differences and respect boundaries in this country, and like we've been saying overall, that both sides of the coin don't do that in certain instances, and that's what causes all this gridlock in the country, is that people don't know when to respect different avenues. You know, the left will say, oh, if you don't let this couple get married in this church, or you're prejudiced toward homosexuals, and then the right will say, well, you know what, if they want to force their marriage in this church, they're being prejudiced towards religious doctrine. Whereas middle-of-the-road people like us, like libertarians, say, wait, you're being prejudiced towards everything in this situation, because you're a gay couple that's trying to force yourselves on the church, and the church is trying to, kind of stamp down on the gay couple for wanting to come there. So it's a whole frenzy, going on in that situation.
Yeah, and one point that I made to a friend I was talking with this about before is that, if you are gay, and I have friends, like really good friends of mine, that I actually have someone who I consider a best friend who's bisexual. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? And that's his life, and he can do what he wants. But I feel that, we were talking about this, and he said himself, like, he agreed. He was like, but if you're gay or you're bi, and you're married, and you want to marry someone of the same sex, why would you want to go to a church that doesn't want to marry you? You know what I mean? Like, even if you got the government to say, okay, you're going to marry them, or you're going to be fined, or you're going to go to jail, like, why would you even want to go there? I mean, wouldn't you feel uncomfortable or not want to be around somebody who thinks what you're doing is immoral? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like throwing yourself into the fire. You're like, you want your marriage or your marriage ceremony to be something you want to remember, and you're going to go there, and the priest or the rabbi or whoever's the person leading the service in whatever, type of sanctuary it is just going to give you attitude the whole time. You don't want a forced ceremony. You want to go somewhere that accepts you. And in a weird, harsh truth there, like what you just said kind of brought to light to me, it almost makes you know who respects you and who doesn't. Because then you'll end up going somewhere and saying, wow, I'm so accepted here,
Yeah.
So it's... Yeah.
And I like what Rand Paul said. I think it was when he went on the Daily Show with Trevor Noah recently. He was like, I think when it comes to these issues, I think we're better off trying to persuade each other rather than beat each other up with the government. Mm-hmm. Which I like because, I've had conversations with people. Like I had a friend of mine who was in my economics class, and we would always debate the drug war. And he was really pro drug war. He wanted all drugs to be illegal. Of course, I'm on the other side of the coin. I think I'm for legalizing drugs, and which to a lot of people is totally understandable. That sounds really extreme, but I mean, I've done a lot of research on it, and I have a lot of reasons why I think that should happen, because I essentially think the drug war is owning the cartel. But we would debate stuff all the time, and eventually, after a period of time, we were understanding of each other's positions, and he was a lot more open. I actually convinced him, because before he was very, very against gay marriage, and then after a lot of conversations, he was like, I kind of see what you're saying now. It really shouldn't be any of the government's business and things like that. And so, we had a peaceful conversation back and forth, and that, that convinced him, and I was open to his ideas and things like that. But I think too often people are too appealed to take the short-term gain and try to just go to the government to make a law or make a regulation or whatever that you can't do this because I personally don't like it, and it doesn't change anybody's minds. It just makes them pissed off, you know?
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So, let's see. There's plenty more to talk about because this is a pretty wide variety of stuff. So, let's see here. So, how do you, something that recently just came out today, how do you feel about, like, Donald Trump not being in the debate tomorrow?
Well, maybe I'll rephrase that. In terms of how do I feel about it, or, like, what do I think about his strategy? What type of answer are you trying to get?
I guess, like, how do you feel? Do you feel like it'll give, do you think it'll give Rand a better opportunity to get more talking time on the stage tomorrow?
Yes. Well, the thing I will say in terms of Rand's perspective on this, right? So we're coming out of a week where we were excluded from the debate. There was a Des Moines Register poll that was released past the Fox News deadline, and there was a lot of ambiguity to that because the poll was finished being conducted on Sunday like the other ones, but it wasn't released till Wednesday. That would have propelled us into the debate. So we had a nice, online town hall during that debate. Now we're back into this debate following, the good performance that week, some solid poll numbers the past week or so.
Yeah.
And now Trump boycotting the debate. So coming in with our momentum and compounded with the fact that Trump's not in, Trump is obviously somebody who's inhibited us from getting some ground, whereas the debate, media coverage, everything, Trump just sucks out us because he tries to act like he's an outsider when we believe that we are the real outsiders because our positions are outside of the GOP realm. So I think, yes, it will help. I think Rand's going to get some more coverage in the debate. But at the end of the day, how much does it really help? Because I think, just like Rand, I think Trump isn't going to be hurt by boycotting a debate, even though they're boycotting, obviously, with different circumstances. But I think when it goes to Trump, he's getting all the media coverage now about boycotting the debate. So I don't know how much it's going to do overall, but I think it might help us a bit. But I think it might not help us as much as I see some people, especially on the Rand Paul fanboy groups on Facebook, they're kind of getting all giddy about this. I hate being a Debbie Downer, but I don't know how much it will really do. But I think in general, it's great that we're in the debate. But I don't know about Trump boycotting it helping us that much. But I think we're in a good position overall. So that's my answer on that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Iowa because I feel like we're working towards the 10,000 college students. For anybody who doesn't know that, the SFR is doing this whole thing where we're called the Iowa 10K, where we're trying to get 10,000 college students to show up to caucus for Rand on February 1st. But I'm really excited because if we can get, well, it's like that guy said, the political analyst. He was saying even if half or a quarter of those kids show up, including, the older people that will vote for Rand, he could place, third place, maybe second place, maybe fourth place. But I'm not going to put it out of the possibility. I could see Rand taking Iowa with the momentum that we've gained recently and the fact that the college is going to be open on caucus night, and you got Ron Paul coming down to hype everybody up. So I'm not going to put it out of the possibility that I really think Rand could upset and win and take a victory in Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Iowa that's very interesting is that Rick Santorum won the 2012 caucus. I think he won with about maybe 27,000 votes or 30,000 votes, and there was only, 6 candidates in 2012 around that time. I mean, you still have 11 candidates who are going to be splitting the vote. They're projecting probably about a turnout of maybe 130,000 caucus goers. You got 130,000 caucus goers. You got 11 candidates. And we have a campaign that's claiming we're going to have 10,000 students showing up. I mean, I think it's pretty simple math. If we get literally just, 8,000, 9,000 people over the age of 23, I think we have a very good chance of placing in the top 3, maybe even one or two in terms of a mathematical equation. But to elaborate on that, I know that Concerned American Voters, or abbreviated as CAV, which is a super PAC led by Jeff Frazee and Matt Kibbe. They've been in Iowa since July. I've read up on them a bit. They have identified 37 likely people, which it's 37,000. And in that equation, it's people that might vote for Rand, probably vote for Rand, or will vote for Rand. So that's a high number. And then, SFR has identified basically around 10,000 students that would caucus. So, and then there's always going to be people that we haven't approached. So if we get, there's a chance that we get over 20,000 votes. And the fact that Santorum got 27,000 in 2012 and won with half as many candidates, that is pretty optimistic. I think we will definitely finish in the top three. I think at the lowest 3, at the highest 1.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah. So we're polling right now at 4 or 5, and we're not including any students in those polls. So,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I totally agree. Now I was thinking about this for a while, and it would be really cool if it was Ron Paul, but that probably wouldn't happen. But I was trying to think of who Rand Paul's vice president might be if he does win the Republican nomination. Do you have an idea of who you think the vice president might be?
Who I think? Okay. Well, the one thing I will say is that I think over time, throughout all elections, especially, I'm 22, almost 23 now, so I consciously remember even 2000 or 2004, and just watching the coverage, people would always say, especially in 08, for instance, people said, McCain's definitely going to take Lieberman, that's who he wants. And then the RNC basically forced Palin down his throat. I don't think McCain wanted that, even though, obviously, we don't agree with McCain, but I'm just saying, in terms of a mano-a-mano kind of thing, everybody's always saying Rand would love to have Thomas Massey, the congressman from Kentucky, or Justin Amash, congressman from